On a dusty shelf in a library lost in time, the Bible from 1775 rests like a hidden enigma. Its worn corners and yellowed pages carry a story that few have had the courage to explore. Those who dared to approach discovered something that would transform the way we view history and faith. And you, are you prepared to discover the secrets that challenge everything you believed until now? As we delve into this text, prepare for a journey of no return, where every detail reveals a new layer of mystery. There is something fascinating about a Bible that has survived the test of time. She is not just an antique object, it's a portal to a time when things were different. But what's most intriguing is what this particular edition hides. Among its verses, there is knowledge that has been deliberately suppressed, secrets that undermine the foundations of faith and history. Why was this Bible forgotten for so long? And what does it bring that is so disturbing that it changes the structure of beliefs we know today? It was no coincidence that this Bible survived while so many others were modified over the centuries. The date 1775 is not just a number, but a symbol of an era in transition, where the world was experiencing crucial moments of change, revolutions, and struggles for power. Perhaps what most frightens those who have come into contact with this work is how it unearths truths that were buried by the Church and the leaders of the time, secrets that, if revealed, could shake the foundations of the faith of many. As we delve into the pages of this edition, it is impossible not to feel that we are facing something great. What will be revealed here will challenge everything you think you know about Bible history, humanity, and even the future. This is just the beginning of a journey that will lead you to question what we really know. And most fascinating of all, what is to come will make it clear that the past has never been more present than now. Now click like and subscribe to the channel. It will take a second. 1775 was a year that changed the world in unimaginable ways. It was a time of not only political, but spiritual and philosophical revolutions. At that time, the world was on the brink of the American Revolution, where nations sought to redefine their freedoms, and the Church sought to maintain its control over the people. While in the American colonies the cries of independence were echoing, in the heart of Europe, a silent battle for the soul of religion was being waged. The Bible of 1775 appears in this context, reflecting the winds of change. The impact of these transformations was felt deeply in the spiritual field. The Bibles of that time were not only religious books, but also instruments of power. Control over the content and interpretation of Scripture was a weapon in the hands of the Church. However, the world of 1775 no longer bowed so easily. People began to question what they were taught, and the emergence of this Bible, with its secrets and revelations, seemed to be a direct response to this awakening. It was as if the sacred text itself was crying out for a new interpretation. We cannot forget the role of spiritual revolutions. While political battles gained the spotlight, the human spirit also waged its own fight for freedom. Alternative religious movements, sects, and secret societies flourished, and they all had something in common: the desire to uncover ancient mysteries that had been hidden for so long. And it is in this scenario that the Bible of 1775 stands out, offering truths that were deliberately kept in the shadows. But why does this specific edition of the Bible emerge precisely during this period? Perhaps most interesting is how it captures the spirit of the times: the search for knowledge, the breaking of old chains, and the renewal of faith. The curiosities of history show that in times of crisis, human beings always look for answers. And this Bible, with its secrets and anomalies, offers just that: answers to questions that many didn't even know they could ask. And so, we began to realize that the context of 1775 was the perfect stage for this revelation. Few know, But the story of the Bible from 1775 is surrounded by mystery. It was not created like any other edition. Its origins go back to secret religious groups that operated in the shadows of society. These groups, with their occult beliefs and mysterious rituals, believed they possessed superior knowledge, something that should be shared only with those worthy of receiving it. This particular edition of the Bible was printed and distributed by hands that did not want to be known, and many wonder why. Those who delve deeper into its origins discover that it was not produced by any of the major religious publishers of the time. Instead, it circulated discreetly among the initiated, as if reading it were some kind of privilege. This version in particular had striking differences that caused surprise to those who compared it with other Bibles. Who were these people who decided to create this edition? What did they want to convey through these changes and omissions? These questions remain, leaving a trail of interesting facts about history for those who dare to investigate. There is also the aspect of the conspiracies surrounding its creation. There is evidence that this Bible was written and compiled under the supervision of a secret society whose intentions went beyond simply spreading Christianity. This group wanted to reveal a hidden truth, but only to those who were ready to receive it. What makes this edition so intriguing is the fact that it was released during a period of intense change, when control over information was more valuable than ever. It was a silent response to the growing demand for freedom of thought and faith. The question that remains is, why keep it a secret? Why not spread this Bible to everyone? The fear of his message, perhaps, was too great. The Church certainly did not want the masses to have access to these truths. There was something in its pages that, if revealed to the public, could shake the fabric of religion. And so, the mystery remains. This Bible emerged, lived in the shadows, and left a legacy that to this day provokes debates and in-depth investigations into its true intention and origin. When opening the pages of the Bible from 1775, something immediately jumps out. There are verses that simply aren't there. Words and passages that, in traditional editions, have deep meanings seem to have been omitted or deliberately changed. These anomalies in the text are not mere misprints. These are changes that completely transform the understanding of fundamental passages. Imagine reading a familiar story, but discovering that essential parts are missing, changing the entire context. This is what the Bible of 1775 does to those who venture to read it. These disturbing differences don't stop at simple omissions. Some words were changed, changing the meaning of entire verses. A clear example is the replacement of terms that refer to divinity or the destiny of humanity. The exchange of a single word can change the view of man's role in the universe, or even what is expected at the end of time. These small changes, at first glance insignificant when added together, paint a completely different picture from what we know. The impact of these changes goes beyond language. For scholars of the time and today, these changes open the door to completely new interpretations of the role of faith in society. There are those who say that these changes were made to open the eyes of readers so that they would see a deeper truth, which had been suppressed by the more official versions of the Bible. Others believe that the anomalies are the result of attempts at spiritual manipulation, where powerful groups wanted to shape the faith according to their own convenience. However, one question remains. Why were these specific differences introduced? Was it a mistake or a deliberate intention? What do these changes reveal about the true purpose of those who wrote and distributed this Bible? Each omission and alteration seems to carry with it a hidden message, and it is this feeling of something hidden that continues to fascinate those who pore over the pages of this edition. With each verse read, a new layer of mystery emerges, leaving in the air the certainty that what was suppressed may contain the greatest revelations in history. One of the most shocking revelations in the 1775 Bible is the exclusion of the so-called apocryphal books. These texts, considered controversial by many, were never accepted into the official canon, but they always aroused curiosity and fascination. By being left out of this specific edition, the mystery only increased. What was it about these books that so upset the religious leaders of the time? And why did the Bible of 1775 follow the same line, keeping them away from popular knowledge? These books brought stories that shook the foundations of faith, challenging the traditional narrative we know. Apocryphal books contain stories that expand on human and divine origins. Texts such as the Gospel of Thomas or the Book of Enoch reveal a vision of the celestial world that differs greatly from what is found in the scriptures accepted by the Church. For example, the Book of Enoch describes fallen angels and their interactions with humanity, a theme that has often been suppressed in traditional versions of the Bible. These texts speak of ancient mysteries, the origins of evil, and even secrets about the destiny of the soul. Their exclusion makes it clear that there was something about them that the powerful preferred to keep in the shadows. But why did the Bible of 1775 follow this tradition of exclusion? Some believe this decision was made to protect the common reader from truths too complex to understand. Others argue that exclusion was a form of control, to ensure that the power to interpret Scripture remained in the hands of a few. What is certain is that these books contain secrets that, if revealed, could radically change our view of the history of the Bible and its teachings. These apocryphal books, however ignored they have been over the centuries, continue to instigate the curiosity of those who seek the complete truth. They challenge the canon and open up space for deep questions about what really happened at the origins of faith and humanity. Their absence in the Bible of 1775 is another piece of this mysterious puzzle that little by little we are unraveling. What could the Apocrypha reveal to us, and why are they kept on the sidelines? In the pages of the Bible from 1775, there is more than simple stories and spiritual teachings. There are prophecies that for some reason were omitted in the versions we know. The nature of these predictions is disturbing, as they not only describe future events with frightening accuracy, but also challenge the understanding of time and destiny. Imagine reading something that predicted not only the events of your own time, but also events that would shape the future of humanity. And why are these predictions not in modern versions? What was considered too dangerous to reveal? These omitted prophecies address themes that resonate with what we are experiencing today. They speak of social changes, natural disasters, the collapse of empires, and the rise of mysterious forces that control the destiny of humanity. Some of them even describe events that many believe to have already happened, but which at the time they were written seemed impossible. This raises an intriguing question. How could someone in 1775 so accurately predict events that would only occur centuries later? Scholars who have had access to these prophecies suggest that they were kept secret for very specific reasons. They predicted a future of ruptures and radical changes that would not be well accepted by the power institutions of the time. If people knew what was coming, they might question their authorities and traditions sooner. The prophecies spoke of ages of chaos, but also of enlightenment, where hidden knowledge would be revealed to those who were ready to look beyond the surface. The truth is that these prophecies, if they had been known on a large scale, could have changed the course of history. Who knows what we could have avoided or predicted? However, silence about them persists, and the Bible from 1775 continues to be a symbol of knowledge that few have access to. The curiosities of history show us that sometimes what is hidden is more powerful than what is revealed. And in this case, the omitted prophecies are a reminder that there is still much to be discovered. In the Bible of 1775, the translation carries a power beyond what was expected. Simple words, when changed, have the ability to completely change the understanding of a passage. And that's exactly what happened. The translations in this particular edition are not mere linguistic adaptations. They hide a subversive message, a truth that could turn everything taught upside down. Each word choice seems to have been made with a hidden purpose, perhaps to guide those who sought something beyond what was offered by the traditional church. Some of these words, when analyzed deeply, reveal hidden meanings that suggest a new way of interpreting faith. Terms that were once associated with obedience and submission now seem to encourage questioning and spiritual awakening. This raises a crucial question. Who was behind these changes? Was it a deliberate effort to open readers' eyes, or an attempt to shape the faith in a completely new way? The impact of these changes still reverberates, especially when we compare them to modern translations, which seem to have suppressed these nuances. The subversive truths found in these translations are not obvious at first glance, but, to those who pay close attention, they become evident. For example, some passages that speak of divine power now place more emphasis on the responsibility of the individual, something that, if fully understood, could challenge the religious authority structure of the time. These changes subtly suggest that humans have more control over their spiritual destiny than traditionally believed. Imagine the surprise of someone who, for the first time, comes across this idea in a book that has always been seen as a source of blind obedience. These subversive truths raise profound questions about the role of translation in the transmission of faith. If one word can alter the course of understanding, what else could be hidden between the lines? The Bible of 1775 then becomes not only a religious text, but also a tool for transformation. The curiosities of history teach us that often what is hidden between the lines is what truly has the power to change the world. The number 1775 may seem like just a date, but for students of Scripture and historical curiosities, it carries hidden meanings. Numerologists and biblical scholars suggest that this specific year was not a random choice for the publication of this Bible. There is something deeper about this date that goes beyond the historical context. 1775 is considered a number full of symbolism, and within esoteric circles, it represents the end of one era and the beginning of another, a change in the way humanity deals with the divine. This year was a turning point for the world, and the Bible of 1775 seems to reflect exactly that. At that time, empires were beginning to crumble. New ideologies were emerging, and the power of faith was being questioned. But was it just a coincidence that this specific issue was published at this exact moment? Those who believe in the power of numbers see this as a kind of silent prophecy, where the year itself marks the beginning of a new phase in humanity's spirituality, something that the Bible tries to capture and convey in its pages. In addition to the historical context, there is a belief that the number 1775 is directly linked to the fall of old empires and the emergence of new global leaders. Some scholars even claim that the political and spiritual revolutions of the time were, in a certain way, predicted between the lines of the Bible of 1775. The fall of great nations, the collapse of monarchies, and the emergence of alternative religious movements are seen as the materialization of a prophecy contained in this enigmatic number. But what does this mean for today's reader? Are we still living under the shadow of this change? The number 1775 can be a reminder that history is always in motion, and that each number, each date, can carry with it a hidden meaning. For those who believe in the power of historical cycles, the Bible of 1775 is more than a sacred book. It is a symbol of the beginning of a new era, where the old gives way to the new and the unknown is always waiting to be revealed. During the period in which the 1775 Bible was published, the religious world was far from static. It was a time of ferment, where sects and secret religious groups flourished in the shadows of traditional institutions. As official churches struggled to maintain control over the interpretation of Scripture, small groups, with their own beliefs and views, began to emerge, questioning everything that was considered sacred. The Bible of 1775 became a symbol for these sects, a work that carried hidden knowledge, reserved only for the initiated. These sects, often considered heretical by the institutions of the time, saw in this specific edition a chance to rescue truths that had been erased or distorted over the centuries. Movements such as the Gnostics, the Rosicrucians, and even secret societies such as Freemasonry were known for seeking superior knowledge, something that transcended the simplistic explanations offered by traditional religion. For them, the Bible of 1775 was not just a text, but a tool of spiritual enlightenment, something that could reveal forgotten mysteries about the creation and destiny of humanity. With the emergence of these sects, numerous conspiracies also emerged. Many believed that the very creation and distribution of this Bible was part of a larger plan, devised by hidden forces that wished to challenge the church and power structures. There were rumors that secret societies were behind its publication, hiding encrypted messages in its pages and allowing only the enlightened to decipher their true meaning. These theories fueled even more curiosity about what was really behind this edition. Why were these sects, and not the large churches, so interested in this Bible? What did she offer that others couldn't? The answer may lie in the way these groups understood faith and knowledge. For them, the truth lay not on the surface, but in the deeper layers of meaning that could only be accessed by those willing to question. The conspiracies surrounding the 1775 Bible still persist, and for many, it remains a symbol of a truth that was, and perhaps still is, kept hidden. The pages of the Bible from 1775 contain more than meets the eye. To the untrained eye, it is just another ancient edition of the sacred text, but those who have dedicated themselves to studying it in depth have discovered something surprising: encrypted messages hidden between the lines. Codes and cryptograms were inserted so subtly that for centuries they went unnoticed. These secret messages appear to have been placed there intentionally, to be discovered by those in search of higher knowledge, something reserved only for those who possessed the key to decipher them. These codes were not mere curiosities of history. They contained information that, for many, could completely change the way the Bible was understood. Messages about humanity's true role in the divine plan, predictions about future events, and even instructions on how to interpret certain biblical passages in unconventional ways were hidden within the text. The most intriguing thing is that these encryptions seem to dialogue directly with the religious mysteries of the time, as if they were an invitation to go beyond traditional faith and delve into forbidden knowledge. The discovery of these hidden messages raised many questions. Who put them there? What was the purpose? For some scholars, this is part of a larger conspiracy involving secret societies and religious sects that controlled the dissemination of certain information. For others, it is a divine attempt to communicate something that could not be said openly at the time. Whatever the explanation, the fact is that these encrypted messages continue to intrigue, and the Bible of 1775 remains one of the few editions with this level of mystery in its pages. However, deciphering these codes is not an easy task. Many tried, few succeeded. The hidden messages appear to be beyond common understanding, requiring a degree of esoteric knowledge to be interpreted correctly. And what has been discovered so far suggests that there is much more to be revealed. Each page can hide a new revelation, Each passage can contain a secret not yet revealed. And so, the enigma continues, with new discoveries emerging with each generation, keeping curiosity alive and mystery ever present. The publication of the Bible in 1775 generated a wave of reactions within the Church, and few were as intense as the resistance it encountered from religious authorities. The Church, which for centuries had a monopoly on the interpretation of the Scriptures, saw this edition as a direct threat to its power. After all, a Bible that contained textual anomalies, hidden messages, and subversive revelations could easily undermine the trust of believers in their leadership. It didn't take long for this issue to be treated like a silent enemy, something that needed to be fought. Many religious leaders at the time openly questioned the legitimacy of the 1775 Bible, claiming that it contained heresies and distortions that were dangerous to the faith. It was not accepted by the main ecclesiastical councils, and its distribution was strongly discouraged. In some cases, there were attempts to collect and destroy the copies that were circulating, in a true witch hunt. But what exactly did the Church fear? Was it the simple existence of this Bible, or the truths it could bring to light? The fight for control of the Scriptures then became a battle for control of faith itself. This confrontation was not limited to public criticism. The Church also mobilized academics and theologians to disqualify the translations and interpretations present in the Bible from 1775. These scholars were tasked with proving that the omissions and text changes were serious errors, and that therefore this edition could not be accepted by the faithful. However, while some academics worked to delegitimize this Bible, others, in secret, began to study its particularities, intrigued by what was different about it. The internal struggle between maintaining tradition and exploring new paths had already begun. The Church's resistance was great, but paradoxically, this only increased interest around this edition. The more authorities tried to silence the existence of this Bible, the more it aroused the curiosity of those seeking the truth. And this is where we see the power of history's curiosities. What was prohibited or fought against always found a way to survive. The Church's fight against this Bible was perhaps one of the most important battles in the history of faith, and the echoes of this dispute resonate to this day. There are those who believe that the Bible of 1775 is not just a historical document, but a true supernatural revelation. For these believers, its publication at a time of historical transition, full of anomalies and hidden secrets, cannot be a coincidence. Could it be possible that divine forces were acting behind this edition, delivering to the world a truth that the Church had deliberately suppressed? The reports of miraculous events associated with this Bible are numerous, fueling the belief that it carries more than printed words. It brings divine intervention. Some scholars claim that people who came into contact with this Bible experienced inexplicable visions and revelations. Reports of miracles attributed to his reading circulate to this day. Testimonies describe supernatural events that occurred after reading specific passages, as if the Bible of 1775 was capable of opening a direct connection between the reader and the divine. For many, these reports are proof that there is something special, perhaps even sacred, about this edition, as if it were a portal to a deeper understanding of faith and the universe. However, these allegations did not go unnoticed by critics. For many traditional theologians, the supposed miracles and visions associated with this Bible are pure invention or exaggeration. They claim that these supernatural experiences are nothing more than the result of enthusiasm or psychological suggestion. However, there is a fine line between faith and reason, and the fact that so many people report similar phenomena when interacting with this edition makes it difficult to completely ignore the possibility of divine intervention. The curiosities of history teach us that, when the inexplicable happens, it is always an invitation to look beyond appearances. Whether the Bible of 1775 is a supernatural revelation or just an intriguing historical artifact, the impact of its legends and stories endures. For those who believe, it remains a sacred piece, a fragment of a greater plan that only a few can fully understand. And for those who doubt it, the very existence of this belief is cause for reflection. In the end, the question remains, what is really behind the pages of this edition? And most importantly, what is the role of the divine in this mystery? As time passed and new versions of the Bible were published, something curious happened. Excerpts that were previously considered an integral part of the Scriptures began to disappear or were radically modified. The 1775 Bible stands out precisely for preserving details that, in modern versions, have been suppressed or changed, raising important questions about who controls what is kept or removed. These changes, however small they may seem, have a profound impact on faith and the way sacred texts are understood. Modern scholars who compared the 1775 Bible with more recent editions noticed that entire verses were deleted or had their meaning drastically changed. Words such as freedom, redemption, and even divinity were replaced by more generic terms, diluting the original meaning of many texts. What these changes reveal is that over the centuries, there has been a constant concern to control the narrative of what should be accepted as truth, and every modification to the text is an attempt to shape the spirituality of millions of people. What has been deleted or modified in modern versions is not just translation errors or linguistic adaptation. In many cases, they are passages that carry deeper and, in some aspects, even subversive meanings. The fact that these passages were changed raises suspicions that religious authorities feared that access to certain knowledge would undermine their power. Interestingly, many of the apocryphal books that were excluded from the 1775 Bible have also disappeared in modern editions, strengthening the idea that there are truths being deliberately hidden. For contemporary readers, the impact of these changes is evident. They are receiving a version of the Bible that has been carefully edited to reflect a more controlled and less challenging view of faith. The Bible from 1775, on the contrary, maintains this authenticity, preserving excerpts that reveal powerful and even disturbing nuances about spirituality. What has been deleted or modified in modern versions makes us reflect on how much of the original knowledge still remains hidden, and how much history has been lost over the centuries. The Bible of 1775 is not just a historical document. For many, it carries prophecies and messages that point directly to the creation of the so-called New World Order. Over the centuries, conspiracy theorists and alternative scholars have identified clues in its pages that suggest that current global events are linked to an ancient and secret plan, which began to unfold precisely in the period in which this Bible was published. For them, this special edition is like a map that reveals the construction of a new global government, where ancient elites control the destiny of humanity. Proponents of this theory argue that changes in translations and omissions of crucial passages in modern versions of the Bible are part of a larger strategy to keep humanity in ignorance. The Bible of 1775, with its least modified texts, offers a vision of what was really planned for the future of civilization. It contains passages that speak of an era of total control, where political and religious powers would unite to rule the world under a single system. For those who believe this, the New World Order is not a fantasy. It is a reality predicted for centuries. Secret groups, such as esoteric societies and influential organizations, would have used this Bible as a source of spiritual and strategic guidance. According to these theories, powerful figures throughout history have consulted this special issue to decipher its hidden messages and ensure that global events follow their predicted course. The idea that the New World Order is already underway and that much of what we experience today was planned finds echoes in the enigmatic passages of this Bible, which suggest a future where individual freedom will be increasingly limited. However, there are those who see this connection as mere coincidence or paranoia. For these skeptics, passages that speak of global control and single governance are exaggerated interpretations of ancient texts with no relationship to the modern world. But for those who believe, the Bible of 1775 offers a unique window into what is to come, a warning that the changes we are witnessing are not the result of chance, but of a plan carefully laid out over time. Centuries, with the aim of establishing a new world power. The Bible of 1775 not only challenges the religious dogmas of its time, but also calls into question some of the truths established by modern science. In its pages, we find passages that, if read carefully, appear to contradict accepted scientific theories about the creation of the world, the nature of humanity, and even the structure of the cosmos. For skeptics, these claims are mere fictions or misunderstood metaphors. However, for others, this Bible contains profound truths that science simply has not been able to uncover, or has been unwilling to accept. One of the biggest points of conflict between science and the Bible of 1775 is in the creation narrative. The text of this edition presents details that are not found in modern versions and that challenge the Big Bang Theory or Darwinian evolution. Instead of presenting an expanding universe or natural selection, this Bible describes an intentional and planned creation, where divine forces act directly in the formation of the cosmos and life. For those who believe in a purposefully created universe, this Bible offers answers that science has avoided exploring. Another area in which this particular edition diverges from modern science is in understanding time and human destiny. The Bible from 1775 presents a concept of cyclical time, where events repeat themselves in pre-established patterns, something that directly challenges the linear view of time defended by science. For scholars in this edition, natural catastrophes, great technological advances, and even cycles of civilization collapse follow this pattern. Science, in turn, seeks causal explanations for these phenomena. But the Bible suggests that there is a defined destiny, a repetition of eras that humanity has not yet fully understood. Finally, there is the mystery surrounding the nature of human consciousness. The Bible from 1775 suggests that the human mind is intrinsically connected with the divine in a way that science is not yet able to explain. While modern neuroscience tries to understand the brain as a biological machine, this Bible affirms that consciousness is something much greater, something spiritual that transcends the physical. For believers, this is the key to understanding the limitations of science and embracing a broader truth about what it means to be human. Among the pages of the Bible from 1775, there are secrets that recount the creation of the world in a surprising way. Unlike the best-known versions, this edition contains details that challenge traditional narratives and open space for deeper interpretations. This is not just a recreation of the Genesis story, but a revelation that suggests that creation was much more complex and layered than we imagine. What is so hidden in this Bible that needs to be uncovered? It leads us to question what really happened in the beginning of everything. The details about the Garden of Eden are especially intriguing. Rather than a simple narrative about Adam, Eve, and the serpent, the Bible of 1775 suggests that Eden was a point of connection between different realities, a place where the divine and the human coexisted in a more tangible way. These elements, often omitted or simplified in later versions, point to the possibility that creation was a much more mystical and interdimensional event than most people have ever known. This completely transforms the way we understand the beginning of humanity and the purpose of creation. Another important aspect is the description of celestial beings, the 1775. Bible mentions figures who, over time, have been associated with myths and legends, but who in this edition are portrayed as real forces who actively participated in the creation of the world. These heavenly beings, as they are called, are not the traditional angels we are familiar with. They have a more complex and influential role, suggesting that the creation of the world involved an alliance between deities of different levels, something that official history seems to have ignored. These secrets, hidden for so long, offer a richer and, at the same time, more disturbing insight into the origins of the world. If this narrative is true, it would radically change our understanding of our own existence and humanity's place in the universe. The creation of the world would not just be a past event, but something that continues to unfold, influenced by forces and beings beyond our understanding. The Bible from 1775 thus becomes a key to unraveling these mysteries, offering answers that traditional history has never provided. When it comes to the end times, the 1775 Bible offers a perspective that challenges everything we know about Revelation. Unlike the common interpretations we read in modern versions, this edition suggests that the apocalypse is not simply an event of destruction, but an ongoing process of revelation and transformation. In its pages, we find a more symbolic and less literal description of the end of times, where what really matters is the spiritual awakening of humanity. This awakening, in turn, is linked to secrets that, until now, have been kept hidden. According to this Bible, the apocalypse should not be feared as an imminent catastrophe, but understood as a necessary stage in humanity's journey towards enlightenment. Prophecies suggest that the true end of times is actually the end of an age of ignorance, where the hidden truth will finally be revealed to all. This places humanity at the center of the action, as protagonists of a new era of wisdom. This view, of course, differs radically from the descriptions of destruction and punishment that we commonly associate with Revelation in the most popular versions of the Bible. The events described in the book of Revelation gain new meanings in this edition of 1775. The trumpets, seals, and horsemen of the apocalypse, so often associated with chaos and judgment, are reinterpreted as symbols of inner transformation. Each of these events represents a stage in humanity's spiritual evolution, where the illusions and falsehoods that have ruled the world for centuries will be dismantled. This process of revelation is not imposed from the outside in, but from the inside out, beginning with individual awakening. This more symbolic and spiritual vision of the apocalypse brings a message of hope rather than fear. Instead of passively waiting for the end, humanity is called to actively participate in this process of transformation. For those willing to seek hidden truths, the 1775 Bible offers a way to face the apocalypse as a portal of spiritual growth, and not as a sentence of condemnation. The end of time, then, becomes the beginning of something greater, a new era of revelation and knowledge. Over the centuries, those who have had the opportunity to read the 1775 Bible report experiences that go far beyond what would be expected from a simple reading. There are many testimonies from people who claim to have been profoundly transformed after diving into its pages. These people report a feeling of inner revelation, as if, when reading this Bible, they were accessing knowledge that was always there, hidden, waiting to be revealed. These experiences are not just emotional, but spiritual, suggesting that there is something truly unique and powerful about this issue. One of the most striking testimonies comes from a scholar who, when reading the Bible from 1775, claimed to have visions of the past and the future. He described vivid images of historical events that, at the time, had not yet occurred. Years later, these events happened exactly as he had predicted. This type of experience has led many to believe that this Bible is more than a sacred text. It is a channel for the divine, a bridge between the present and the eternal. And these experiences continue to repeat themselves, with new readers sharing similar accounts of visions and insights. There are also those who report healing and profound changes in their lives after contact with this Bible. People facing spiritual crises, illnesses, or personal problems find in the pages of this edition a new perspective that completely transforms their lives. These testimonies speak of a power that cannot be explained by intellectual reading or traditional faith alone. For many, this Bible is a divine instrument of intervention, which acts directly in the lives of those who approach it with an open heart and a mind willing to question. These reports, however, are not accepted by everyone. There are skeptics who believe that the experiences reported by these readers are the result of suggestion or exaggerated expectations. Still, the number of testimonies is too significant to ignore. The Bible of 1775, with its peculiarities and secrets, continues to provoke transformations, and the mystery behind its pages still fascinates those who seek answers to the mysteries of faith and existence. After all, the testimonies of transformed lives are, in themselves, powerful evidence of the impact of this special edition. Reading the Bible from 1775 not only challenges the traditional understanding of Scripture, but also raises profound moral and spiritual questions. By confronting the reader with hidden truths and unconventional interpretations, this edition demands a re-evaluation of the principles and values that govern faith. Those who venture to explore its pages are faced with moral dilemmas that often question established norms. The impact of such discoveries can be as disturbing as it is liberating, leading the reader to reflect on their deepest beliefs. One of the most challenging implications of this Bible is the way it presents the spiritual responsibility of the individual. Unlike more traditional editions, which place destiny in the hands of divine power, the 1775 Bible emphasizes the active role of each person in building their own spiritual path. This places a much greater moral burden on the shoulders of those who read it. The decisions we make, the actions we take, everything is intrinsically linked to our ultimate destiny. This vision demands a sense of spiritual autonomy that not everyone is ready to embrace. Furthermore, this edition questions the very notion of sin and redemption. In some passages, sin is not seen as a transgression against strict divine laws, but as a failure to achieve a higher understanding of life and the universe. Redemption, in turn, is presented not as an act of forgiveness, but as a process of enlightenment and self-knowledge. These ideas, if accepted, completely change the understanding that many have of faith, leading to a more personal and less institutional relationship with the divine. This in itself can cause a moral shock to those accustomed to traditional concepts. The spiritual implications of this Bible are vast. For those seeking a deeper connection with the divine, it offers a new way of understanding existence and the purpose of life. However, for those who prefer to cling to the certainties of traditional faith, the truths contained in this edition can be seen as dangerous. Ultimately, the 1775 Bible presents the reader with a choice: continue on the familiar path or venture into the depths of the unknown, where the moral and spiritual implications can radically transform your worldview. Now that the secrets of the Bible from 1775 have been revealed, the big question that remains is, what to do with this knowledge? For many, discovering truths that have been hidden for so long can be liberating, but also frightening. After all, What does it mean to live knowing that what you have believed up until now may have been shaped by outside forces, and that there is even greater knowledge lurking, waiting to be fully understood? The answer to this question is not simple, but it is undoubtedly transformative. These revelations are not just information, they are invitations to a journey of self-knowledge and spirituality. With this new perspective, what once seemed certain and unquestionable can now be seen in a new light. It's up to you to decide how these truths will influence your life from now on. For some, this may mean embracing a new form of faith, where questioning and the search for truth are central. For others, it may be the opportunity to reconnect with the divine in a more intimate and personal way, without the constraints of traditional interpretations. But this choice is not just individual. With these revelations also comes a moral and spiritual responsibility. What you do with that knowledge matters. It may be that, upon knowing these truths, you feel the desire to share this wisdom with the world, helping others to question, reflect, and awaken to something greater. Or perhaps you prefer to follow this path silently, allowing the change to occur within you in a more introspective way. Whatever the decision, one thing is certain: the power of truth always finds a way to manifest itself. Now that you know these secrets, what will be the next step? The Bible story of 1775 shows us that in times of change, hidden knowledge can be the key to a new era of understanding. And the final question that remains is, how will you apply this truth in your life? Are you ready to transform your spirituality and follow a path less traveled? Or would you prefer to stay in the comfort zone of tradition? The choice is yours.
If you're interested in having a Bible like the one we use in our studies, check out the link in the first pinned comment. If you enjoy our content and can support our channel, consider buying us a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee. Additionally, if you can purchase a crucifix, we also have a link in the first pinned comment. We greatly appreciate your support. God bless, and see you in the next video.